What's up? I'm Quinton Rampage Jackson, first unified champion of MMA, baby.
Quinton Rampage Jackson!
Welcome everybody to my combat channel. I'll be your host for the evening, Nancy Uri, and joined alongside a very famous face. You don't need any introduction, but I'll introduce you anyway. Quinton Rampage Jackson, thank you so much for joining us. I've been a fan all the way back to the Pride days.
Yeah, Quinton, now you just researched that. Why is my face famous? Why I got a famous
No, because
face?
you are hands down, one of the biggest names in MMA.
Am I really?
Absolutely.
I think the people I've been fighting for never want me to know these type of facts.
No, you have branded yourself brilliantly. Yes.
Have I?
Yes, absolutely.
I didn't even try to do that.
First, I want to start about back in the day. You're a Southerner like myself. You were born in Memphis, Tennessee. I was
from?
across the river in Arkansas.
I used to go to church over there.
Oh, they're in West Memphis, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me, what kind of kid were you? Were you like the kid that always did chores, or were you staying out way past dark?
I never had a curfew my whole life. I was a street punk. That's probably the best I should leave it. I told that story a long time ago, but you know what I'm saying? That's why I got God Street Soldier tattooed on my arm, because you know, I came from the streets, and I feel like, you know, God, you know, brought me to where He brought me now, you know what I'm saying? I have plenty of kids that was kind of like me and do similar things or even better. So I was one of the worst street punks there was, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, ah.
Now, you kind of harnessed some of that street aggression into a very accomplished high school wrestling record. How were you introduced into wrestling at Egypt, Raleigh?
Raleigh, Egypt.
Raleigh, Egypt, my apologies.
Well, you know, I grew up in like the really bad part of Memphis. Then my mom remarried, and we moved to like a better part of Memphis. And then the school had wrestling, and I always wanted to be a pro wrestler, so it was a no-brainer for me to join a wrestling team, and I did. Coach Bojo took me up on his wing and became my mentor and taught me how to wrestle.
So now you initially transferred from wrestling, didn't go the professional wrestling route, but were kind of introduced to MMA. How did that whole thing come about?
Well, quite ironically, one of my toughest opponents, his coach and my coach was best friends, and we always saw each other in the finals. Sometimes we had to train with each other. We became really good friends off the mat. Dave Roberts. Okay. He's the one who introduced me to Fabiano Iha and had me come out to Southern California and train at Fabiano's gym in Huntington Beach, and we've been friends ever since. And now me and him open up a gym together ourselves in Orange County.
Now you amassed a pretty accomplished 10-1 record in promotions like King of the Cage, Gladiator Challenge, and then you wound up going over to Japan to fight in Pride from 2001 to 2006. So having gone from the ranks of like King of the Cage and Gladiators to going to see faces like Shogun, Henderson, Sakuraba, what was it like being the new kid on the block there?
Well, I don't know. I never really thought about that. I was just liked being there. I really loved the Japanese fans. I fell in love with them the first time I came there. You know, even before I even fought, they had already had trading cards of me, and like really like laminated ones, like professional ones, like kind of like baseball cards. Okay. I hadn't even fought there yet, and they was asking for autographs and stuff like that. You know, I had never really signed an autograph really before. I did like a few like in like King of the Cage, but these guys, like, it was already lining up, and I instantly fell in love with Japanese fans. My first fan, he looked like Sakuraba. He was an older guy, so I called him Fake Sakuraba.
Fake Sakuraba.
And he was like my #1 fan for years, and I always hung out with him all the time. He didn't speak a word of English, but he spoke Spanish.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, he made those Japanese pro wrestling masks. Like
oh, yeah.
So he always did business in Mexico. But he would speak to me in Spanish, I would speak to him in English. And somebody
a friendship was born.
Yeah, it was cool.
Now, as long as there have been combat sports, there have been rivalries, and you are definitely no exception to the rule. That's where you met pretty much one of your first rivals in Vanderlei Silva. You faced him twice over there, first in the middleweight Grand Prix in 2003, and then the middleweight championship in 2004. What was it that stemmed that rivalry? Was it that first loss?
Well, it wasn't really a rivalry for me. It was like it was a tournament, and it was my job. I had to fight Chuck. Then I had to fight Vanderlei. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to win the tournament. Then I lost the second. I beat Chuck and I lost to Vanderlei, and then I made my way back up to fight him for the belt. He was a champion, and so I made my way back up to champion status, and he kicked my butt again. And then I had to fight him again in the UFC, so we actually fought 3 times.
But despite those losses in, to Vanderlei and Pride, you were actually turned out to be one of the most badass guys in the Pride organization. In your 5 years and 17 fights there, what was the highlight crowning moment of that period?
Probably on my birthday, like on my 25th or 26th birthday, when I powerbombed Ricardo Arona. That's probably like the most highlighted moment of Pride right there for me.
Okay, okay. So after your years in Pride, you were able to transition into the UFC, and now it was kind of said that you didn't want to join UFC sooner because of your buddy Tito Ortiz was kind of like the big name at that time.
Yeah.
Wasn't there enough room for both of you?
Well, I don't know. I'm just kind of like that, you know what I'm saying? I would feel bad if Tito would have came over to Pride, and maybe, you know, actually, to be honest, I probably wouldn't have cared if he came over to Pride. But no, Tito was a man back in the day in the UFC, and I knew everybody always wanted us to fight each other and stuff like that. And I always felt like I could go and be champion in the UFC and stuff like that. So I didn't want to give Tito his space. I really didn't want to stay away. I'm a friend like that, you know, this type of person I am.
Very respectable, and in your second fight in the UFC, you already earned the light heavyweight title from the Iceman Chuck Liddell. Did you think that at that point you had really made it?
That was, you know, it was kind of all of a sudden for me. I didn't really think about it. It was really no big thing for me because I had already beat Chuck.
Right.
So it was like, you know, these fans, they didn't know who I was. They booed me, and that, for knocking out Chuck. And a lot of my friends told me a lot of stuff that made me ashamed to be American about that fight.
Why is that?
Well, a lot of my friends was telling me it was a very racial fight, and I didn't think about it. It was a black guy fighting a white guy, and it really made me ashamed to be American. And even in my hometown, a lot of white people was cheering for Chuck Liddell because he was white and stuff like that. So, so when they booed me and stuff like that, it made me lose a lot of love for the fans and a lot of American fans and stuff. So that was like that fight. It really changed me a lot, and it was like I didn't even really care about the belt and stuff like that. I was just so ashamed to be American at that point in time.
Well, I know that you kind of regained some of those fans back with The Ultimate Fighter, and now that series itself has produced some serious stars. What was kind of your initial take in the MMA plus reality TV show equals ratings greatness?
That was actually a great idea to do a show like that. That actually saved the UFC in my opinion. And my first show was with Forrest Griffin. He's a very funny guy, so it was a no-brainer to coach each other. But man, I had to tell you, man, it was hell coaching the team. Like I love the guys on my team, but some of them, like some of those guys, like pansies, man. They're like looking for excuses, like. And people start thinking like, since I was their coach, like I trained them their whole career. Like, man, these guys came to me like this. You ain't gonna be able to change you in 6 weeks. So I got a lot of crap for being a crappy coach. And I was like, man, it's not called Ultimate Coach. It's called Ultimate Fighter.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
So I'm not a coach. I'm a fighter myself. So you know what I'm saying. So people, you know, luckily for me, I have like I have thick skin. I don't really care, but a lot of times that made me kind of look at MMA fans a little different, like too. You know what I'm saying? Because you really think about it, the Japanese fans, I really didn't get a chance to know them that well because I don't speak the language. And you know, I just know them from when I meet them. They're very respectful and stuff like that. So I don't know if they saying the same stuff, but American, you can hear what they saying. You American fans, you hear what they thinking. I was like, man, I can't stand these American fans. He's calling me bad coach, you suck, and then, like, how do I suck? And this guy lost. Like, you know, he came to me with the skills he came with.
You're the one with the name.
Yeah.
So
But honestly, like, he come on the show. You think I'm gonna teach him how to fight in 4 days before he fight? Like, how come I'm a bad coach? Because this guy can't fight.
Right.
And no one listened to me anyway. I was coaching, and they didn't do what I said anyway. So maybe they would have done what I said. Maybe they would have done better.
Not your responsibility.
Not my responsibility.
Everybody's accountable for their own actions,
exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Well, it was right after the first episode of that season aired that you kind of shocked the MMA world and announced that you were done fighting because you felt mistreated by the UFC.
Like I've been over the UFC for a while. Like I just really don't like to fight for people who don't appreciate me. And I think I bring a lot of stuff to the MMA world. I bring a lot of excitement in and out the cage, and I just hate to fight for people when I don't feel like I'm appreciated.
Well, your retirement, fortunately for us, didn't last long because in December you announced that you were coming back and Dana White was going to give you a 6-fight contract. What was it? Were fences mended between you and Dana to kind of bring you back to the UFC?
No, they threatened to sue me.
Okay.
So I said, okay, like, well, forget it. I come back. I'd rather make money than get money taken away from me. So.
Now, unfortunately, you're coming off back-to-back losses the first time in your career. I know if I've done the math right, you have 2 fights left on your contract, but you came out.
Your math is wrong. I got 1 more fight on my contract.
1 more fight, okay. And then you're done with UFC.
I'm
Is
done
what
with UFC.
you've declared on Twitter, I believe.
I'm done with UFC. Like, there's no way they can make me sign another contract. Only way the UFC can make me sign another contract if I'm getting like $20 million a fight, and there's no way they're gonna do that. There's no way they can do that.
So now, with that one fight, is there somebody in particular in your class that you would like to face for the last time? Because Shogun Hua has actually called you out.
Well, I doubt that Shogun who will call me out, because I know Shogun. You know what I'm saying? I think
read the quote?
Well, you can read whatever you want, but Shogun is a cool guy. I call Shogun out, so I called Shogun out to fight in Pride, and like he was fighting Dan Henderson. So
right.
So Shogun already beat me. So why would he want to call me out? Like we can't fight in Japan now because that's gone. So why would Shogun want to fight me? Because I called him out to fight in Japan. Shogun knows why I called him out, and I was really respectful about it. This is UFC trying to cook something up. Honestly, I have no excitement about fighting anybody under the UFC, you know what I'm saying, brand. So I'm not excited about fighting anybody. I just want to do what I got to do, get my last fight over with, and just be done with the UFC. So they can put anybody they want in there with me. I don't care. I'm just going to come and do my job and try to beat whoever they put in front of me. Because most likely, you know what I'm saying, they're going to have these crazy game plans and try to hump me. But Shogun would be a good worthy opponent because he always brings excitement and stuff like that. So I would be very interested in fighting Shogun, but it's just like, I'm not even, in my opinion, I feel like the UFC only cares about their logo. They don't really care about fighters and what we go through and how much we got to sacrifice and stuff like that. So
it's a lot.
It's a lot. They don't. In my opinion, they don't care. So I'm not going to care about their logo. I'm only going to care about me. Only thing I'm worried about is healing my knee up, and so I can give 100% in my own endeavors after I leave the UFC.
So you're gonna just let Dana White and Joe Silva decide who your final opponent in the UFC will be?
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, I don't care who they put me in there with. I can care less.
So you've kind of been adamant about, I don't want to fight for the UFC. Is there another organization that is kind of caught your eye that you would care to be joining forces with?
No, it's a lot of organization stuff coming up, you know. But I'm doing a whole lot of things. I'm designing video games. I'm doing music now. I'm going back to Japan in April to talk to some guys. I'm getting a record deal and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm writing movies. This stuff that they don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't talk about a whole lot of my stuff. So. The UFC thing, I just can fight, and I've been saving up my money because I knew I didn't like them.
Right. Like
just because I'm not educated, people think I'm not intelligent. So I'm very intelligent, but you know what I'm saying, I don't show all my cards. You know what I'm saying. So I knew this day would come. I've been saving up all my money. You know what I'm saying. I can go like years without fighting, and still live comfortable with my kids and everything I want to do, and with these video games and stuff that I'm making. Rampage Rage is coming out pretty soon on the app.
Shameless plug. Shameless plug.
And I got clothing lines. I got Revin, you know what I'm saying, and I got my gym, Rampage, you know what I'm saying,
Fitness Academy. Right. You're a chain. Mission Viejo and Temecula.
Temecula,
okay.
Yeah. I got all these things that I'm doing, and that I don't need the UFC money and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But what I do need is for people to respect me, and so when I leave the UFC, watch what the fans do. The fans will get tired of those people, those crazy game plans of just fighting just to win. They're gonna miss fighters like me. It's not a whole lot of fighters like me left. And so, you know what I'm saying, I do what I do because I love the fans, but a lot of times I don't get the love back from the fans and the people that I think I deserve.
I kind of want to go a little dark right now. And
well, is that a pun?
No, it's not, because you're black. I want to talk about a very hot topic in MMA, and that's steroids. Because it's kind of, resurfaced its ugly head. Yeah. The Nevada State Athletic Commission began testing MMA fighters for performance-enhancing drugs early in 2002. And lots of fighters, go to their local GNC or the health food store. And a lot of these supplements that they're taking, or meal replacements or things like that, do contain ingredients that they're testing positive for, in addition to other things.
I don't believe that.
You think it's...
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Doing some of that?
I believe they're doing steroids. I don't believe that. See, me, I just started taking testosterone, and I've been open about it. I didn't even have to be open about it. I was prescribed it, that my levels were low, and they tested me for it, and I did it. I never taken any type of drugs before my life. The only drugs I've ever done in my whole life is tobacco, marijuana, and alcohol, aspirin and stuff like that. Those are the only drugs I ever taken in my whole life. I just never been the type of person who experimented with drugs because I grew up in the streets. I've seen what drugs do to you.
Absolutely.
That's the way I learned. You know what I'm saying? So I took testosterone to help me heal my knee up to get me to this fight, and I liked the way I felt, and I was actually thinking about retiring until I started taking testosterone, and it turned back the hands of time. And so some people cheat, and that's why they doing steroids. If they were smart, they would have just done testosterone. But steroids got a lot of side effects and a lot of crazy stuff. I don't see why people even do steroids. I see people like losing, like busting their biceps and all this stuff on steroids. It's just cheating. But I don't know about a whole lot of supplements because I never really took a whole lot of supplements. I just started dealing with Muscle Farm and stuff like that.
Okay.
And they gave me supplements, told me what to take. But I don't believe like a lot of these supplements got stuff in them that make you fail, like steroid tests. I just don't believe that.
Now you brought up weed. Now it's very obvious that, well, not obvious, but it was very big in the news when Nick Diaz tested positive for marijuana. This was his second offense back in February. It didn't really surprise a whole lot of people because he does have a medical prescription for it. I think it's either anxiety or ADD or something like that. He was prescribed for it. It's not exactly a performance-enhancing drug.
Right.
Should medical marijuana be allowed in MMA?
Yeah, because it messes you up more than it helps you. So,
makes you hungrier after the fight?
Well, no, it just I just don't think that I just don't think fighters shouldn't smoke weed while they're fighting. I see a lot of my training partners. I'm not gonna say their name. You know what I'm saying?
These boys are gonna be mad when they hear you doing that.
They can't kick my ass. Well,
Nobody can.
Actually, they can, but they're my brothers, so they probably wouldn't. Hope not. They just now starting to stop smoking weed because I told them like it's like you guys would be so much better if you didn't smoke weed. So like somebody fell a marijuana test and getting punished for it. I think that's ludicrous. I think it's stupid.
Now, I want to talk about one of your newest passions, and that's acting. I used to play A-Team growing up, and it was one of my favorite shows, and I was ecstatic at the Hollywood rumors that there was going to be an A-Team major motion picture. You really pleasantly surprised a lot of people because you were so amazing as B.A. Baracus. What was that like being on the set with A-listers like Bradley Cooper, who, by the way, you can give him my phone number, Liam Neeson? How cool was that? Was there an intimidation factor going in?
No, because when people really get to know me, I'm like a big kid. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Copley. And now
he was great.
Yeah, I'm really good friends with everybody on the set, and the director and Jewel Daly, like one of the producers, and a lot of the extras. Like it was the most chemistry I ever experienced on the set, and everybody's still good friends. And so I wasn't intimidated at all. Like they like took me up on their wing because they knew I was new, and we just had fun. Me and Shouto, we was BA and Murdoch the whole time. The whole time. We did our best stuff together when the camera wasn't even showing.
What was the coolest thing you got to do while filming?
The coolest thing I got to do, probably ride the motorcycles and stuff.
Really?
I got to ride the motorcycle and stuff like that.
I want to now do something that I like to call the 10 hot questions. And I just want you to give me the quickest thing that comes to your mind.
Oh, hell.
Okay? What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning?
Open my eyes.
Okay. If you had to eat one food for a month, what would it be?
Japanese hamburger steak.
Ooh, okay. Who's the biggest tool bag in MMA?
Joe Silva.
Ooh, okay. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Unlimited cardio.
Ooh, that's awesome. What was your childhood nickname?
Nut.
Nut?
N-U-T-T.
Okay.
And Rampage after I turned 8. But.
Okay. Who gave you that, by the way?
My
Rampage.
My cousin Tyrone. His nickname now is No Touch. He gave himself that nickname.
Do you have any hidden talents?
I'm very good at doggy style. I'm the king of doggy style.
What's your guilty pleasure? And you have to say it. What's your guilty pleasure?
Sexual.
No, it's not. Like carrot cake or something like that.
I didn't know. I thought
like Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
I'm like, I don't do none of that stuff.
No, that's My Combat Channel After Dark. We'll get to that.
Oh, you said guilty pleasure. I didn't know. I never asked my guilty pleasure. Like you talking about food?
Anything.
Black walnut ice cream.
Okay. What's more satisfying, winning by submission or a knockout?
Knockout. Come on.
All right. What's your favorite reality show?
I don't watch reality shows.
You watch TV?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, what's your favorite show?
My favorite show is American Dad and, Family Guy.
Okay. And what's the dumbest question you've ever been asked? And it better not be one that I have asked you in this segment.
What's the dumbest question you ever been asked? No, what's your guiltiest pleasure? No,
Said it couldn't be something I asked you.
no. What's the dumbest question I ever been asked? Oh goodness. Oh.
Oh,
Do you even train UFC?
okay, that's a very dumb question.
Very
So
dumb.
I hope you knock that person out.
UFC Light Heavyweight Champion, Quinton Rampage Jackson!
Rampage just hunted him down. Good left hand! Eastman goes down, and it is
You do kind of come off as that bigger than life, you know, personality, which I totally respect, but you have been an absolute teddy bear, and thank you for not motorboating me, dry humping me, any of that stuff that I was
You don't.
warned that you like to do.
I only do that to hot women.
I'll remember that. Not that gorgeous women like myself. No, not really. But no, I really do appreciate you taking the time to come down here to my combat channel.
No, you cool.
And
You're cool.
see, I am cool
you
because
cool.
you didn't motorboat me.
That's not the reason why I didn't motorboat you.
Nice.
But you keep thinking that.
Okay, all right. But I do want to thank you for coming down. So keep it right here on my combat channel for Quinton Rampage. I'm Nancy Uri. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. You're very good.
Thank you.
Can I motorboat you now?